In an era shrouded in shadows, a haunting chapter of history unfurls, a tale of African pirates whose echoing footsteps and glinting cutlasses struck terror into the hearts of families. No doorstep was safe from their predatory advance. As men and women were seized from their homes, their lives abruptly torn asunder. Along the once serene coastlines of Europe, an ominous change had washed ashore. The Barbary pirates emerged as formidable antagonists, humbling even the most maritime powers of the continent. With audacity, they commandeered individuals, reducing human beings to mere cargo and rendering once mighty coastal defenses utterly futile. As we step into the time capsule, today's journey beckons us to explore a disquieting chronicle, the unspeakable fate endured by white slaves ensnared in the clutches of the Barbary pirates. Who were the Barbary pirates? Through the span of the 16th to the 19th centuries, a dark epoch unfolded, narrating the chilling tales of marauders hailing from North Africa and joined by the raiders of the Ottoman Empire. In a relentless pursuit, they ensnared unsuspecting souls along the picturesque coastlines of Europe, dragging them into a nightmarish abyss of enslavement. Dubbed the Barbary pirates, their shadowy operations were etched into the very fabric of the Barbary coast, a stretch of North Africa's shoreline that embraced lands now recognized as Tunisia, Libya, Morocco, and Algeria. Like ominous specters of the sea, they were also known as corsairs, creatures of the Mediterranean, descending upon coastal settlements and fledgling harbors with merciless intensity. In their wake, villages were razed for the grim purpose of populating the nefarious slave markets. Their motives were as intriguing as they were harrowing. An unquenchable thirst for wealth and a ceaseless hunt for opportunities propelled them forward. Captives, snatched from the clutches of their familiar existence, were herded onto vessels, destined for the distant shores of North Africa. Foremost among these destinations was the ever-hungry Ottoman Empire, a marketplace for human lives that these pirates tapped into with brutal efficiency. The fear of Europe. In the annals of history, a formidable spectre haunted the Europeans, an indomitable dread that coursed through their veins at the mere mention of the marauding Barbary pirates. The potency of their coastal raids was nothing short of astonishing, a force that catalyzed the birth of defensive forts lining the coastlines and even galvanized the evolution of burgeoning European navies. Emerging from the coastal realms of North Africa, these pirates commanded a fearsome reputation, etching their legend upon the very fabric of Europe's shores. Like swift tempests, they descended upon coastal towns and merchant vessels, their fleet of well-armed vessels leaving a trail of chaos in their wake. Tales from that era provide poignant glimpses into the overwhelming onslaught that Europe's shores bore witness to. In the wake of a raid along Cornwall's coast in 1625, where some 60 souls were snatched into the shackles of slavery, the Vice Admiral of Devon, Sir John Eliot, lamented that the seas encircling England appeared to be a dominion ruled by these ruthless pirates. The 1600s marked an era of routine incursions, where the southwestern coast of Ireland, the once idyllic Baltimore, bore witness to the plundering of some 200 pirates, amassing a cruel tally of 107 Irish natives destined for the shackles of Algiers. By the turn of 1640, the grim realization had settled in. A staggering number of 3,000 to 5,000 English individuals languished in the clutches of Algiers. In a resolute response, the British Parliament's Committee for Algiers emerged, establishing charities and knitting together the fabric of local fishing communities to pool their resources. Their mission, to secure the liberation of their captive brethren. Yet, the forces at play proved relentless, and the initial fervour against the Barbary slave trade faltered. As 1650 dawned, a sombre reality cast its pallor. The English fishing industry quivered beneath the weight of incessant threats. The pirates' ceaseless attacks had cast a dark shroud over the maritime ventures, compelling English fishermen to hesitate, reluctant to leave their families ashore, vulnerable and exposed to the unrestrained might of these seaborne predators. What became of the captured? Once ensnared within the clutches of the Barbary corsairs, the prospects ahead were unrelentingly grim. The voyage from Europe to the distant shores of North Africa was a treacherous ordeal that claimed countless lives as the unfortunate captives battled starvation, thirst, and the merciless grip of disease. Those who managed to endure the harrowing journey faced yet another trial, a haunting gaze under the scrutiny of potential buyers traders at the slave markets. Hours would pass as they were inspected, like objects of trade, until the gavel fell and the auctioneer's voice sealed their fate. The tales recounted by those who had lived through the horrors of enslavement painted a chilling panorama. Samuel Pepys' diary bore witness to these narratives, fragments of survival amidst the abyss. In the year 1661, Pepys documented conversations with survivors of the Barbary trade. Their words unveiled a grim tableau of sustenance, reduced to mere bread and water, bodies subjected to brutal beatings that knew no restraint, agonizing blows upon their bellies and the tender soles of their feet. Following the exchange of coin for ownership, the slaves were thrust into a myriad of tasks. For the male captives, a life of toil awaited, grueling labor on construction sites and in quarries. Female slaves were shackled to a different reality, cast into the realm of domestic servitude and the harrowing spectre of sexual subjugation. Nightfall cast a sinister pallor as the enslaved were herded into overcrowded dungeons, aptly referred to as bagnios. Yet, amidst the somber tapestry of labor and servitude, there existed a fate even more dire, meted out by the Barbary pirates. Some slaves were conscripted to serve as oarsmen in the very galleys that had once carried them into captivity. Chained to their benches, they became prisoners of the oar, their existence reduced to a monotonous rhythm, eating, sleeping, relieving themselves. Every facet of life unfolded within the confines of that oar's relentless pull. A single lapse, a solitary sign of defiance, invited the lash of the whip across their already scarred back. What became of the Barbary pirates? As the trail of missing lives grew longer and the fishing industries languished, a sense of humiliation smouldered within the hearts of burgeoning naval powers. Europe, its coastal towns beleaguered, could no longer bear the weight of this plundering menace. It was time for a reckoning. In the swath of time spanning the 17th to the 19th centuries, the states of the Western world, whose shores had borne the brunt of the Barbary onslaught, marshalled their forces and waged a fierce counteroffensive. The echoes of battle reverberated across the seas as they clashed with the audacious pirates who had long terrorized their coastal enclaves. Even across the vast expanse of the Atlantic, the United States could not remain untouched by this tumultuous tide. Not once, but twice, they locked horns with the Barbary states, their resolve tested against the relentless adversary. The opening salvo occurred from 1801 to 1805, followed by a second clash a decade later in 1815. Amidst these fiery encounters, the year 1816 stands as a testament to the intricate tapestry of naval politics. In the aftermath of this latest bout, the United States severed the chains of tribute payments, long considered a form of protection against pirate predation. Europe's coastal might coalesced as well, launching assaults against the very heartlands of the pirate states. The pages of history unveil a moment in 1675 when, backed by a Royal Navy squadron, Sir John Narborough navigated the treacherous waters of diplomacy, securing at least a temporary peace with Tunis. A different approach was chosen in the case of Tripoli, where the thunder of British bombardment was the harbinger of uneasy tranquility. And yet the ceaseless battle for maritime supremacy raged on, each successive century woven with tales of conflict and conquest. Algiers stood as the epicenter of this protracted struggle, its coastal defences tested and battered by the relentless onslaught of French, Spanish, British, and indeed American warship. Amidst this intricate dance of war and diplomacy, the pivotal year of 1816 emerged as a turning point, the zenith of the war against the Barbary pirate. Amidst the clash of powers, amidst the war with the United States, a coalition of Dutch and British fleets sailed forth, embarking on a mission of liberation. Their valiant efforts culminated in the emancipation of over 4,000 Christian slaves, severing the Barbary corsairs' grip and marking the beginning of their decline. The legacy of the Barbary pirates defies simplicity. It exists as a multifaceted prism, refracting tales of power, efficiency, dominance, and conquest. Through the lens of history, these marauders have both been lauded and vilified, their tale a mosaic of shades and hues. Yet, what remains indelibly etched is the unassailable impact of their raids and the sinister trade in human lives, a scar that forever marks the lives and lands they targeted. Thanks for watching the video, and if you found it informative, please like and subscribe to Time Capsule for similar content. We look forward to sharing more knowledge with you in the future. Until then, take care.